We have some news right now. Senators are sounding the alarm following classified briefings over the last 24 hours regarding the war in Iran, with one senator, Elizabeth Warren, saying that it's, quote, worse than you think it is. Elizabeth Warren went on to say that the Trump administration has no plan in Iran, that it's, quote, an illegal war based on lies, launched without any imminent threat to our nation. Trump still hasn't given a single clear reason for this war. He seems to have no plan on how to end it.
The world needs to understand. The U.S. and Israel murdered Ali Khamenei. They murdered the supreme leader. People need to stop pretending this wasn't an event. This is an earth-shattering event. The Iranian people are enraged. They will not stop this war until they get their revenge. And their revenge will be against the nation state Israel that perpetrated this, and against the United States. This doesn't end with the United States having a military footprint in the Middle East. Iran will seek to eliminate that now.
Israel is taking a bloody good hiding, but you don't know it. You don't know it for two reasons. First of all, anybody releasing a picture or video of the damage in Tel Aviv is immediately sentenced to 5 years in prison. And secondly, because the mass media, CNN, BBC, Sky News, have accepted Israeli censorship and are therefore not broadcasting the footage that they have taken over a Tel Aviv that now looks like Gaza. The Iranians are hitting at will with the most powerful ballistic missiles. 50 ballistic missiles hit Tel Aviv last evening alone.
Remember this moment from February 2025? This may go down as one of the single most prescient moments in modern diplomatic history. And instead of acknowledging Zelensky's points, Trump and J.D. Vance yelled at him.
During the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
I'm beginning to think that electing this guy was not a good idea.
There are two clips that give off the same energy.
Boots on the ground in Iran. Are you afraid of a U.S. invasion in your country?
No, we are waiting for them.
You are waiting for the U.S. military to invade the ground troops?
Yes, because we are confident that we can confront them, and that would be a big disaster for them.
So China ends up having more to lose from this trade war, doesn't it? You know, it can't sustain the loss of 15% of its export market, i.e. what you export to the US.
Not at all. China is fully prepared to fight to the very end. So if the United States wants to go in that direction of completely shutting itself out of the China market, be my guest.
Yeah, and China will lose the US market, which, as I've said, is 15%.
We don't care. We don't care.
Greetings to everyone watching this. This is Red Ninja Network. I'm Mr. Red. And let me first start by saying that you've probably seen me somewhere before. And if you have, welcome to this channel, Red Ninja Network, where we intend to continue to speak truth to power, speak truth that we believe from a perspective of regular people. It is important that we stay armed with the most important thing, and that is knowledge. And that's what you will get here on this network. I started off with a barrage of clips showing why America is in a losing battle with Iran in this war, and we're in trouble. Elizabeth Warren and a bunch of other people came out, senators came out of this briefing realizing that we don't have a plan. And you just saw one of the Iranian leaders pretty much hold himself up exactly the way China did, that they have no fear. And it's because we went into this war with no plan, despite knowledge that it was the most stupid decision that any president could make, which is why other presidents never made it. And we did it in such a way that now we will have irreparable harm to this country, this economy, and maybe even to each and every one of our lives. Listen, thank you all for supporting what we've done before. But we hope for new beginnings here. We hope to expand the topics here on this channel such that we can grow better and bigger than we did before. We have much to discuss. Let's strap in. Let's get after it.
What the president is trying to do is he's trying to regain leverage. He's trying to do it desperately, but it's not the leverage he thinks it is. This would be like cutting off our nose to spite our face. And I'll tell you why. Because if we took out Karg Island, sure, it would devastate Iran's economy. It's 90% of their oil comes from there, but it would also devastate ours because oil is already soaring around the world, and it would surge worldwide if we took out this key supply line. And then the Iranians would feel like there was nothing left to lose. And in the realm of national security, we have a word for that. We call it stupid.
Absolutely. We went into this thing thinking that we could just take out a country with 90 million people with just bombs. That we could just take out one leader and that would solve all the problems. And we got into this war not because it was in our interest, it's because it was in our allies' interest. It's not real. And they are finding out how bad this thing really is. But let's go back to what this man just talked about. It was stupid because right now we are running on this petrodollar. And this petrodollar is already having problems. Instead of realizing that there had to be other ways that we should go about trying to strengthen the dollar, we decided to get in the most expensive ways to try to strengthen the petrodollar. And that's getting into a war that no one else is stupid enough to do. But that's not just it. There's more to this story. Trump spared the oil fields in Iran because, of course, he sees it as an opportunity. But at the same time, Iranians, they have all the leverage. They have all the power. And sparing the fields don't mean we're going to get to that oil later. And that's exactly what we learned when we were in the Middle East for 20 years before.
Why reopening the strait has become clearly so central in Trump's mind. And I think it's also worth noting that all of these moves occurred after the markets closed on Friday, which I don't think is an accident.
And even then, he actually didn't strike the oil facilities. If I'm sitting in Tehran right now, I will interpret that as Trump's aim at playing madman has come to an end and that he is now being constrained by others. He probably wanted to go all the way. This is just speculation on my end. He wanted to go all the way, but there was such pushback inside the US government pointing out the tremendous negative effects this would have on the global economy, on oil markets, and on the US economy months before a midterm, that he had to pull it back and instead just did this pinpoint attacks against the military facilities, which then tells the Iranians Trump is not willing to escalate further. This further strengthens their sense, false or correctly, that they are more in control of the situation right now.
Listen, Iran is pretty much telling the people around, hey, we're sorry that we did this, but we weren't the ones who started this shit. They did. The US did. It's not real did. And they're going to pay. They killed our leader. They killed innocent children who did nothing but go and do what they were supposed to do. And now they're trying to dictate how we do things in our land. And then Trump has to pull back because those gas prices, when they start surging, and I'm going to tell you, I've been to the pump lately and oh my God, they're going up. And this may just be the beginning. He surges oil prices. He can't even keep his MAGA people from not taking his head off.
Anthony Blinken, Joe Biden's Secretary of State, just admitted that Donald Trump fell for the same trick that Israel tried to trick Biden into doing, but Biden rejected.
October 7th attack on Israel, the horrific attack on Israel by Hamas. The Israelis were insisting that in the north, Hezbollah from Lebanon was about to attack, and they wanted to strike preemptively against Hezbollah. And President Biden said, look, we're with you, we'll always be with you in defending Israel, and if you're attacked, we're there, but we're not there if you're going to start something. And we came within about 30 minutes of having a war in the north based on bad information that the Israelis had about an imminent attack from Hezbollah. But Biden was very insistent. We're not going to do something that you initiate, that you start. It's very different than defending Israel when it's been attacked.
And this is what every president before President Trump knew, that you can justify a war, wrong or right, is if it looks like they attacked us. Iran tried to de-escalate. Iran tried to come to the table. We ignored them because Trump listened to his ruler, Netanyahu, who knows if that dude is even alive right now or not. Trump listened to them. This war benefited them at the time because they saw an opportunity to take more land. And economically, we were already going down in the shits. And this man decides now that we're going to start a war. How stupid he is and how much he's willing to distract from these Epstein files. But the United States has way bigger problems than the bad PR that's coming from the Epstein files and that's coming from the appearance that a few things may not be going right. The United States has we cannot win for multiple reasons. They have that problem.
The United States will run out of military power. The generals have already warned the president. We have a finite amount of ammunition. Run out of ammunition. It doesn't matter how many airplanes we have, how many aircraft carriers we have. If we can't drop bombs, it's useless. And then we're done. So what happens is then the United States has to withdraw from this fight. And then Israel is left on its own. And then we get into regime change in Israel. And the goal here won't be the destruction of Israel, because I don't think that will be allowed to happen. But what we're going to be looking at is the disenfranchisement of Benjamin Netanyahu, that he will lose all credibility. This man was, again, Mario, you saw it at the end of the 12-day war. Did you see Benjamin Netanyahu's hands when he was talking about what was happening? Shaking. He was uncertain for the first time. He said, this got out of control. That's why he called up Trump and said, end this conflict, because I don't know what the future of me is. They told the United States, don't pull the trigger unless you can guarantee an outcome.
ईरान के पास सबसे खतरनाक चीज क्या है? उसके पास छोटे साइज की पनडुब्बी है. ये बहुत बड़ी पनडुब्बी नहीं है, इसमें 10-15 आदमी ही अट पाते. बहुत छोटी पनडुब्बी है.
Now I apologize because this right here, I thought it was going to be in English. When I first looked at it, I was actually able to see what this thing said, maybe through translation or whatever. But the one thing that you need to realize about what you're looking at on this screen is that they're also the way that Iran is constructed. What happened was they saw what happened in the Middle East and they said, if that happens to us, then our whole country shatters. And this is exactly what we expect to do. We destabilize a country so that it falls, and we expect it's going to take years for them to get back together. We can also install people that we want, but Iran was smart. And this is what Zelensky was trying to warn Trump about. Because in Iran, they don't have the loss of the supreme leader doesn't stop them from being able to do what they do. Their military is fractioned, and each fraction of that military is able to operate independently until they get the cold order, till they get the order to stop. We can't beat that. And then what you're seeing here is, instead of having these big ass ships with immobility, they have smaller ships, speedboats, really, really fast speedboats that can launch missiles. They're hard to target because they're smaller and they're fast. And then when you try to target in on them, you can't target in on them. They're too fast. They can maneuver. We have some amazing ships, but they don't maneuver like this. And this is things that they've learned from watching us, learning new tactics. We say that we're fighting for the flag, but they believe that they are fighting for something higher. Listen, this is just a small snippet of the clips that I have to show that the United States is in some serious trouble when it comes to, fighting against Iran. The United States is in serious trouble thinking that it can keep up this type of battle. It really is. And the thing is, Trump is not a tactical genius. He was not in the military. He didn't go to school for these things. And we have a bunch of generals that are advising him who are loyalists to him and decided to put career over their duty to serve the Constitution. On top of that, you have war hawks like Marco Rubio. What's that drunken ass name that we have for the Department of Defense? Pete Hegseth. And don't forget Lindsay Sweet Pants Honeygrams, okay? They're a bunch of war hawks. They wanted this because they thought that we could just go in here and do exactly what It's Not Real told us to do and everything would be fine. But it's not fine because smart people know that This shit is chess, not checkers. And Donald Trump can't even fucking read.
I'm beginning to think that electing this guy was not a good idea. Like, I don't think he knows what he's doing. Here's what I don't understand. If you have the capability to surgically strike and vaporize a leader of a different country, how do you also miss and hit a school full of girls? There's a really big problem because either both were an accident or both were on purpose. And I'm not sure which is fucking worse. I mean, I know which is worse, but like, I don't think you can have one without the other. You can't just accidentally do that and then also do the thing that you... So explain the fucking first thing. So when they cut off 20% of global oil in retaliation, like what's the plan? Like, I don't think that he has a good handle on what he's doing. Like, we should not have elected this guy.
Stay vigilant, stay engaged, stay revolutionary.